This is the show. We bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course, we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the internet, coming to you live from the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. We are so glad you decided to make us a part of your day.
Also joining us at the table is AMC Movie News Production Manager, Mr. Dennis Sen.
Hey guys, I just got back from Vegas. I went to NAB for a day, checked out all the cool new cameras and editing stuff.
Jealous.
Is it sad that the last 4 times I've been to Vegas, I've only gambled once?
That's not sad. That's self-discipline, sir. Self-discipline.
Getting old.
Vegas, baby, Vegas! We also have joining us at the table the director of the upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives. What happened, Mr. John Schnepp?
Well, I'm glad you were able to enjoy Vegas this time. I think the last time you were like in your hotel shivering.
I was like a few inches away from death, I think.
Dennis and I were so sick.
Yeah.
Right, you both were sick.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right, guys.
Actually, before we go on,
I lied.
No,
Just
this
kidding.
is my fault. This is my fault. Before we go on, because I'll forget if I don't say this right now. But I want to give you the results for the most recent AMC Versus. Of course, we did AMC Versus earlier this week. And the topic of this past week's AMC Versus was, are films like X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man better off going back to Marvel, or are they better off staying with Sony and Fox? And I'll be honest with you, I was surprised with the results. Staying where they are with Fox and Sony actually won the vote from you guys. You guys voted that they should stay, those movies should stay where they are. 66% as opposed to 34% of you who said they should go back to Marvel. So I was surprised by those results.
So was I.
I mean, that's what I voted, but I thought most people would vote the other way.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all. I think, you know, we stated a very good argument for the pros of them staying where they are.
I thought we could say good arguments for the pros of both sides, actually.
Well, we were just saying, though, it's
that.
like, if the X-Men and Fantastic Four and Spider-Man all suck, then we'd be like,
then
give
let's
it
do
back.
this poll again next year and see what happens.
It doesn't look like that's going to happen.
And I'm going to let you know at the next AMC Versus, which should be online on Tuesday, the next AMC Versus, our topic will be, who is the better Harrison Ford character, Han Solo or Indiana Jones? That should be an interesting one. Anyway, now with that out of the way, sorry I interrupted you, Chrisley, back to you.
No more false starts.
No more false
starts. All right,
starts.
guys, the high-power game of chicken for the May 6th, 2016 release date seems to be heating up when both Captain America 3 and Batman vs. Superman are currently scheduled to open in AMC theaters everywhere. Marvel president Kevin Feige recently asserted that Marvel will not move dates, and now in a recent interview, Dan Feldman, president of domestic distribution for Warner Brothers, said the following: "It doesn't make a lot of sense for 2 huge superhero films to open on the same date, but there is a lot of time between now and 5/6/16. However, at this time, we are not considering a change of date for Batman vs. Superman." John, what do you make of Feldman's comments?
A lot of people are going to look at these statements and say, well, because we know Kevin Feige the other week said, we ain't moving. I mean, we claimed that date first. We announced it first. They were supposed to come out in 2015. Then they moved it to the same date we're doing Captain America. Nah, we ain't moving. And now we have Warner Brothers saying we have no plans to change the date. So we've got this really high, we've been talking about this for a few days, and I got a feeling we're going to be talking about this issue for a while. We got these 2, especially after the success of Captain America 2, these 2 massive properties that appeal to the exact same demographic, going after the exact same audience. This has never happened before, opening on the same weekend. But here's what I took from this quote. Warner Brothers blinked. They blinked. This wasn't Kevin Feige who said, we ain't moving. This was, well, we have no plans to move right now, but you know, 2016 is 2 years away. Doesn't really make sense for 2 big properties to open on the same day. Yeah, he may have said right now we have no plans to move, but to me, this was Warner Brothers and DC blinking. They will move. And you know what? It's the smart move. Look, some DC fans may look at Warner Brothers and DC, if they decide to move, and I think they will, as showing weakness, and you should stand up. No. The smart play here is to move. Why? Because even though, we've said this before, even though Batman vs. Superman will beat Captain America 3 on the opening weekend box office, Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel 2, this DC Universe thing, they need a monstrous hit. And it doesn't matter if it's better than Captain America 3, it's not going to be the monstrous hit it could be if it wasn't opening against a similar theme movie at the same time. This is Don't be, look, if you're a Warner Brothers fan, DC fan, and they move, do not be hard on them. This is the smart play. This is the right thing for them to do. Now, I'm talking as if it's a foregone conclusion. I'm speculating, but to me, this seems like, yeah, they know they can't open on the same date, and they will probably move. Schnepp, how do you see it?
I completely agree. That's like Feldman is like, oh, they pushed him out to take the fall. Like, you're the one who's going to be saying we're moving, not me. Get Feldman to do it. So he's like forced out. At this point in time, being pushed off the ledge, we had decided we're not, forget it. They're moving. And you're right. It's totally smart. I would say go up two weeks ahead. Move 2 full weeks ahead to get that box office flavor for 2 full weeks. Because you're right. They're both going to hurt going head to head. Marvel's not moving. They were there first. It only makes sense that Warner Brothers, if either of the two are going to move, it would be the Batman versus Superman. They should just move it 2 weeks ahead. Why not? I mean, that puts it like, instead of May 6th, it puts it like April 24th or something.
Yeah, and we just saw with Captain America opening, you can open these big blockbusters in April and make big bank.
Yeah,
you can do it.
So looks like the game of chicken is over. It's just not official.
Yeah, we'll see. So. Dennis?
Yeah, with that statement, he's leaving the door open so that they can later down the line say, oh yeah, we've decided to change. And it is the smart move because DC and Warner Brothers have more to lose than Marvel. Marvel
really
doesn't.
Do.
They have, Captain America 2 with the big success of that, and I'm sure the big success of Captain America 3. You have to remember, Captain America actually isn't the biggest Marvel property.
Oh, it's not their juggernaut.
Right. Actually their biggest properties are with other companies, and they're still killing it with a character like Captain America. And so, even though Man of Steel 2 and Batman versus Superman will make more money eventually, they just have too much to lose money-wise. Like if it opens on the same day, it's gonna eat part of that, and they just don't want that. I agree with you. They should move it earlier, like 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, DC should not worry about. You know who worries about pride and saving face? Losers. and DC and Warner Brothers are in the business to succeed, and the best thing I think they can do to make sure, or at least put this Man of Steel 2 in the best position to succeed, move the damn thing.
And now they've already, like in 3 months when they finally announced it, they'll be like, remember when our man Horn, it's not Horn, now it's Feldman. It's like, bam.
All right, what's next?
The new courtroom drama, The Whole Truth, was scheduled to begin shooting next week with actor Daniel Craig and Renee Zellweger. However, it is now being reported that Daniel Craig has abruptly left the production of the film with no official explanation being given as to why. The production of the film has been pushed back 3 weeks to find a new lead. Dennis, what do you think of Craig leaving the production of The Whole Truth?
I'm curious. I don't know what's going on. There must have been something big, because if you're shooting the next week, it has to be something big, like fighting with the director over the direction of the movie, or something, a big falling out between them and the studio, or something like that, because it's a week later. And also 3 weeks is not a lot of time to find a replacement and start shooting. People have to realize that when you're an actor or director, especially the lead actor, there's a lot of stuff you got to prepare for in order to get ready for the role. And 3 weeks is not that much time.
Especially if you're going after an in-demand actor.
Yeah.
If you're going after an A-lister likened unto a Daniel Craig, these guys have their schedules booked. So it really lessens the chances that you're going to be able to get a really marquee name, because odds are in 3 weeks' notice, their schedule is probably pretty booked at this time. You're right, curious is the word. I mean, you hear something like this and instantly, obviously this wasn't just there's a scheduling conflict that you didn't realize till the week before shooting. No, something went down. I don't know if it's something with the director. Maybe Zellweger wouldn't have dinner with him and he got his butt hurt over it. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but you're right. I'm fascinated. And I'm sad. Because I remember when we first talked about this movie a long time ago, and the idea of Daniel Craig, who's just an incredible actor, doing like a courtroom drama, and I'm a sucker for courtroom dramas. I don't think there are enough of them. I was really looking forward to seeing him do this, and so I'm kind of sad he's not doing it. Schnepp?
Yeah, I did a little research just trying to figure out what possibly could have happened. And he was already, he was in Boston, at a bunch of courthouses doing research. So he was already, there, reading up on stuff, and then, bam, he's out. So it just instantly made me think of, what was that Natalie Portman movie, Jane Got Her Gun?
Yeah.
It feels like that
That's
kind
what it
of,
does, yeah.
really feels like somebody's just I'm out on a plane. What? 3 weeks, everyone's and they pre-sold this with Daniel Craig's name attached to all the overseas people. It's already a done deal. So there's a lot of shuffling that they have to get someone of his caliber in order to honor all those agreements that have already happened. I just hope he doesn't do that to Bond. Like, imagine they're like 1 week out from Bond. He's like, Mendez, I'm out on a helicopter. Like, get him. You know.
I told you, get me Scarlett Johansson as the next Bond girl, or I'm gone.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. I should point out, though, for those of you who are watching us live in the chat board, Ray Ora in there, who is one of our tech team members here at AMC Movie News, says, "Don't worry, everybody. I'll play Daniel Craig's role." So don't worry, Ray has it covered.
Wait, now I'm worried.
All right, folks, listen, it's time for Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a couple of other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. And then Dennis, Schnepp, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
After their popular appearances for co-hosting the Golden Globe Awards together, it looks like Amy Poehler will join Tina Fey in the upcoming Universal Pictures comedy The Nest. The story follows two sisters who spend a final weekend in their childhood home after their parents put the property up for sale. John, buy or sell The Sounds of the Nest?
I was a buy as soon as you say Tina Fey and Amy Poehler together. These two are great. I even liked Baby Mama. Because I thought the chemistry between these two guys are so cool, and when you watch them do the Golden Globes, and even you see them do some other smaller things together, they have such an incredible chemistry. They're so fun to watch. I'm a big fan of Parks and Recreation too, so I like seeing Amy Poehler. I've been a fan of Tina Fey's work for her life. Didn't you direct Amy Poehler?
Yeah, for Upright Citizens Brigade.
That's right, for Upright Citizens. That's right.
Pilot, yeah.
So anyway, for me, it's a big buy. Schnepp?
Yeah, even back then, I knew Amy Poehler was going somewhere with my crutches. No, it's a total buy. I think they're a fantastic team. Their Golden Globes were the funniest Golden Globes I've ever seen, so I can't wait to see their chemistry together again in a big screen movie. It doesn't even matter what the plot is. You're right. When the minute I saw, they're doing a movie together, awesome. So for me, it's a buy.
Dennis?
I'll buy it because of Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, but the synopsis is very vague, so you can't really tell if it's going to be funny based off of that. But their chemistry is great. They're on SNL, and Baby Mom was okay for me, but I really liked them in Mean Girls. I don't think they had any screen time together though in that movie.
No, I don't, oh yeah, people keep forgetting. Amy Poehler was the mom.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she was funny in that.
But I'll buy it just for them too.
All right, what's next?
When director Ivan Reitman dropped out of directing the potential Ghostbusters 3, reports emerged that 22 Jump Street and Lego Movie directors Chris Miller and Phil Lord were in talks to take over the project. However, it seems that's over, as reports have now emerged that the two are no longer in talks and the studio is now talking to other directors. Dennis, would you buy or sell a Ghostbusters 3 if Lord and Miller were directing?
It's funny because a few weeks ago we were talking about how Ivan Reitman was leaving after Harold Ramis's death, and I said I wasn't very interested in a Ghostbusters 3 now. There's only a handful of names that they could bring up that would actually get me interested, and these two are it. I mean, the Lego movie, so I buy it. I mean, the Lego movie was funny and fantastic. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. 21 Jump Street was hilarious, and from what I've heard, 22 Jump Street's even more so. So I would definitely buy it. I think it's a mistake for the studio to let them go.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it as well. That I buy the idea of these guys directing it. I think this would be incredible. I have not been sold on the idea of a Ghostbusters 3 at all in general. I just don't think you should make it. But then you mentioned these two guys possibly directing it, and suddenly I'm like, the only other name that I could think of that would make me also go, hey, now I'm kind of interested in Ghostbusters 3 if this guy's directing it, for several different reasons, is Jason Reitman. I think Jason Reitman would also be a really interesting choice, just because he's a fabulous director, the son of the original director, so there's a legacy thing there. That could be interesting, but for me, it's a buy. Schnepp?
So am I buying that they're not part of it?
No. Would you buy Ghostbusters 3 with these two directing?
But they're not part of it now.
Apparently they're not now, yeah.
I would have bought it.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, if they were directing, I'd be like, yeah, they've got a good head on their shoulders to be able to take a property like even 21 Jump Street and make it really visually exciting, and they directed it great. But that they're not involved, I guess I would say, why not call up James Gunn? Like, he's got some time on his hands.
I love James Gunn.
Yeah, he could deal with monsters, and the special effects really great. He's got a great sense of humor. So, I mean, to be totally blunt, I'm not excited at all about Ghostbusters 3. It's like way past its time to have been made. If there's a big announcement and a whole brand new cast of Ghostbusters reinvigorates the franchise, like, which is what their plan has been, I think, for the last 20 years, but they just can't get it together, I would say, yeah, now I'm interested to see what they come up with, but It's not on the top of my list. Like, when's Ghostbusters 3 coming out? On my deathbed.
Said nobody ever.
Yeah, ever.
All right, folks, we reached our part of the show called Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, before we get to those questions, I'm going to let you know if you're watching us live, you can tweet in some questions live at AMC Movie News. Chris Lee will pick out a few, and we'll save a few minutes at the end of the show to take some of your live questions. But for now, it's time for the mailbag questions. So, Chris Lee, what's on deck?
Dylan Wedge writes, "Hey AMC Movie Talkers, amazing show, as if you didn't know that. My question is about Saving Mr. Banks. This movie is about how Disney obtained the rights for Mary Poppins, so it's kind of like a making-of movie. Wasn't that really risky? Most likely the only people that saw were the people that saw and liked Mary Poppins. I know that movie is popular, but it narrows who would see it. Also, are there any movies you would like to see a making-of movie for?"
Well, I don't think you're necessarily correct about, at least in the talking about Mary Poppins, because Mary Poppins isn't just, you know, one of the great all-time fun movies. It's iconic and kind of synonymous with our culture as a whole. Everybody knows of Mary Poppins, even if not everybody has seen Mary Poppins. And we are suckers for behind the scenes kind of the real story behind Social Network or whatever, the new, you know, Steve Jobs movie that'll be coming out and things like that. I think we're suckers for that sort of thing. But was this a little bit of a risky film? Sure, but every film is kind of risky. Hey, except for Star Wars 7. That's an automatic. But
Money in the bank.
That's money in the bank. So every film's a little bit risky, and the film made them some money. But in this case, I don't think with Mary Poppins it's something people had to really know. But what's a movie that very, very few people saw? Like, I don't know, let's say, I'm trying to think. So what was that Kevin Costner film that was out about a month ago?
3 Days to Kill.
3 Days to Kill. Okay, so if that movie wasn't a big success at the box office.
Wasn't very good either.
Right, so if in about 20 years they decide to make the untold story of 3 Days to Kill, yeah, then I don't think a lot of people are going to rush out to see it. But I think in general, we like making of stories as long as we know what they're talking about, in this case Mary Poppins, even if people hadn't seen it. But I do know a lot of people who saw it who never saw Mary Poppins yet. Anyway, Schnepp, what do you think?
If there's some story if there's drama behind the scenes, if there's something that the making of was just as interesting as the final product, the Banks film was interesting because there was they had this added drama to the writer of Mary Poppins not wanting to sell the property.
Yeah.
And Disney had to for years kind of get her in feeling like she's there. We're not going to do anything weird. There's not going to be any musicals. There's musicals. You know, so had to slowly get this person involved. Of course, you know, do they leave out some bigger, maybe harsher elements to the real story? Yes. You know, is it coated over a little bit to make it a little smoother? Yes, but overall, they touched on a lot of parts of reality, what had to happen to make the movie become a reality. So, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think, you know, but you need to find something that has a little bit of drama or a little bit of, you know, tension. It can't just be then everybody agreed and we made the film. Everything was great. You know, that's 90 minutes of that. You know, there has to be some kind of
obstacles.
Obstacles, and you know, I'm doing this documentary about the Superman Lives movie. And there's tension, there's drama, there's a lot of obstacles, if you want to call them that. And then that movie didn't even happen. So you know, a lot of people are very interested in things that didn't happen, like Darren Aronofsky's Batman or Darren Aronofsky's Wolverine. Wolverine, he even explained himself. He's like, hey, I was having custody battle issues and I wanted to spend time with my kids. Real life took over. I would have loved to have made the Wolverine, but I wanted to spend time with my kids. That's real life. Those are choices. I invested a year of my life into working on this film, and at the last minute was like, no, I'm doing this because this is my real life, and that's just a movie. So, I mean, those things are common. So,
Dennis?
I would love to see a behind-the-scenes movie about Rocky.
Oh.
Because, you know, the whole deal with Sylvester Stallone, he wrote the script, but he didn't want to sell it because he wanted to take over as the lead role. They wanted Robert Redford and a few other people, and he finally, you know, convinced them. You know, he was unknown at that time, and that movie, I think, cost a little over $1 million to make, made over 200 worldwide, and it won 3 Oscars, including Best Picture. So
safe profit margin there.
Exactly, and you know, he became a huge star off of it. I mean, that made his career. So I'd love to learn more about that.
All right, what's next?
You know, the other thing I have to say about Saving Mr. Banks is, yes, it was behind the scenes, but there was also a really great story. And any chance to look at Walt Disney's life, I mean, yes, it was about P.L. Travers, but any chance for us to see Walt Disney is kind of exciting. So it didn't matter what the movie was about. I think people were signing up just to see Walt Disney. Matthew Nagra writes, "Hey guys, I was wondering what you think a director-screenwriter should do if a rumor comes out that contains major movie spoilers. For example, if a rumor came out tomorrow containing major plot details for Batman vs. Superman that spoiled a major plot twist and these rumors were accurate, should the screenwriters and director go back and alter the story so these spoilers don't affect the audience's experience, or should they continue on and just deny that the rumors are true? Thanks, and keep bringing the filthy."
This is an interesting question because it touches on several bigger issues as well. I don't think a filmmaker would go back and change their story just because a plot point got out. I think that would be kind of silly, but that goes to my own personal feelings, and I know not a lot of people share this feeling. My own personal feelings are that spoilers aren't that big of a deal to me. Like, guess what? If the Titanic was one of the biggest box office grossing successful films of all time, right? Had it not been a true story, then the sinking of the ship would have been considered a major, insanely huge spoiler that the ship sinks in the movie. Would have been considered that. Guess what? We all knew the ship sank in Titanic. We all knew it. The biggest possible plot twist in the movie, we already knew because it was a real-life story. But we knew it, and guess what? It still, at the time, became the biggest box office successful film in the history of cinema. And it didn't affect how people saw the film when they went in. The only movie I can think of, for me personally, where had this spoiler been given, it would have affected my entire experience of watching the film, was probably Sixth Sense. I mean, if you knew the spoiler at the end of Sixth Sense before you saw it for the first time, that doesn't just ruin a moment in the film, that ruins the film for you in many, many ways. But other than that, I just really don't care. So if I find out in Captain America 3 that Red Skull shows back up at some point in Captain America 3, is that a spoiler? Yeah. Would I share it with other people? No. But would I really care that I found out? Probably not. It wouldn't affect my enjoyment of the film or anything like that. So here's another great example. I like that show Grimm. I don't watch a lot of TV shows right now because I'm so busy, but Grimm is one of the shows that I watch. And so I open up Hulu the other day, and I go to watch the next episode of Grimm, and the thumbnail on Hulu was Grimm, the Grimm's mother, who hadn't been in the series all year and popped back up. It's like, well, I guess his mom shows back up this episode. But guess what? Then I watched the show, and it didn't affect my enjoyment of the show. But that's just me. I totally respect that other people feel other ways. So anyway, Dennis, you're a filmmaker. You're writing. You're working on a thing right now, Nuclear Salvation. Yeah. If you found out that one of your plot twists got leaked online, would that make you want to go back and rewrite the movie or rewrite the series?
I would be really upset and disappointed, and this is advice that I probably wouldn't heed, but I would say deny it and just keep the story the same. But that's easier said than done. I can understand why filmmakers and writers...
That's what J.J. Abrams did.
Yeah, I understand why they want to, because they want everything to be a surprise. But at the same time, you have to realize is most people aren't like us here at the table and Chrisley over there, and the people watching at home. We love the movie news. We talk about movie news and rumors and speculations and all that stuff. Most of the movie-going audience doesn't care. They don't know. I mean, we just saw Captain America 2. How many, I don't know about your screenings, but I went to it twice, and both screens had people when they revealed who the Winter Soldier is. Oh my God. Oh, what? These people.
He's on the poster now without his mask, by the way.
So obviously, not everyone, I'd say the majority of people don't pay attention to that stuff. So if, let's say, a rumor or something comes out about what you're doing, most people probably won't know.
Here's an interesting thing, too, because I started getting a lot of tweets last night about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. Okay, so Captain America has not even been out a full week yet, right? Yeah. And apparently, the last episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gave a whole bunch of the movie away.
And they yell at us for spoilers.
And they yell at us because Schnepp accidentally says Stephen Strange.
Right.
Which, by the way, to everybody who hasn't seen Captain America 2 yet, the Stephen Strange thing was an absolutely meaningless name drop that had no impact or influence on the film whatsoever.
It was a throwaway for sweaties. It
Yes.
was like, hey, if you knew who that guy just said, you know what's up.
But that wasn't nothing compared to what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did last night, what ABC and Disney did to their television audience who haven't seen Captain America yet. Apparently they gave away several of the huge plot resolutions in the movie. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they gave away a lot. And so
They assumed that you had seen
in the first 4 days. And so they give like real significant spoilers, but
Things
anyway.
about S.H.I.E.L.D., perhaps?
We're not going to talk about it.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, what do you think about all this?
You know what? Let's go back to that Spider-Man poster. That's an homage to issue 121 in which a very famous character dies.
Right.
It's the exact same cover. So are they spoiling for people who might know about comic books, saying, look at our specialty IMAX poster,
Right.
this is telling you who's going to die? Or are they going to be like, at the very last minute, the Green Goblin's going to be like, and while I've
Let's be
distracted you, Aunt May, I've blown her up. And she's on the moon, like on a rocket, and it's explode. I mean, seriously, you know? I mean,
I hope that happens.
that would be awesome, actually. Actually, if he's like, I've planted several thermonuclear bombs in Aunt May's apartment, and they just show up, that would be horrible. If something drops out, like if we find out that Red Skull is in Captain America 3, so what? I'd be excited and be like, finally, well, bring him back. I think he's a great villain. Or if a really large portion of Star Wars Episode 7, they're like, they're in Morocco, they're shooting. It is Tatooine.
Yeah.
Is that a spoiler? Yes and no. It's like, look, they're going back to Tatooine. Do you know why they're on Tatooine? No. Do you know? I mean, and even if elements of the story or the plot do leak, which they will for Age of Ultron, for Star Wars 7, for Batman vs. Superman, all that stuff is going to happen. Someone's going to take a photo of someone in a special outfit. Then you're going to know they're in an outfit. Then you're going to piece things together. That's what just happens. If you want to go into a movie like with spoiler blinders on, go into a cryo tube and sleep for up until the day it comes out. That's literally the only way in our society now that you're going to not get a spoiler. The minute you go on Facebook, the minute you open one of your favorite, websites, you're going to get spoilers just right in your face. So I think it's sort of like, if you decide to click and read about the spoiler, that's on you. But just like if you get information thrown in your face, Khan's in Star Trek 2. Abrams denies it. We all knew it was Khan.
Yeah.
There was about a month in there where I was like, is it really Khan? This little mystery box tricked me. But, I don't think you should rewrite anything. You just go forward with the movie you're making.
All right. Well, listen, we said we'd leave a couple minutes for, we're running over time, but we did say we'd leave some minutes for some Twitter questions, so we will take a few. Chrysalie, what do we got in the Twitter stream?
Brandon Moon wants to know, will we see Norman Osborn as Green Goblin after Harry? If so, would he have the classic Goblin look or Ultimate Comics look?
The way they're setting up, I don't feel like we will, guys.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it looks like he's dying in the trailer.
Yeah.
So.
I would love to see him in this Amazing Spider-Man 3 as like Hobgoblin, or like maybe they're playing and switching things around. Who's to say?
Yeah, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. Yeah. What's next?
Jacob Beals wants to know, is there ever a chance we could see a Punisher sequel with Thomas Jane?
No, that ship has sailed. Which he put together a really cool Laundry Day Punisher little short film you can find on YouTube. Look up Punisher Laundry Day. It's really kind of a fun little thing that Thomas Jane has done. But no, we're not going to see Thomas Jane on the big screen as Punisher again. Any other opinions?
No, I don't think so.
All right, what's next?
Raphael Hespan-Hole says, what are the chances we will see an Age of Ultron trailer at the end of the after credits of Guardians of the Galaxy?
A trailer? Nothing. No, zero.
End credits sequence.
Something.
Leading to.
Yeah, it's the last Marvel movie leading into. So I'm sure there will be something in the end credits scene, but a trailer? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, didn't they do that? Did they do that with Thor? Or which one did they do where they tagged in little clips from the Avengers? I can't remember which movie that was.
It was Captain America. Right. I think it was Captain. Yes, it was.
Yeah, they had him doing the punching bag thing.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about that. That was cool.
So that was pretty cool.
Who knows? Maybe they will do something like that.
Yeah, it could be.
I had totally forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Good point.
I mean, but it's kind of weird because none of the Guardians of the Galaxy, at least Captain America, directly related to the Avengers.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Mio wants to know, do you think The Fifth Element should or could have a sequel?
Sequel, no. Reboot, possible. It's just been too long. There are actually a lot of people in today's movie-going audience who have not seen The Fifth Element, so doing a sequel doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I could see them doing a reboot of it someday, maybe.
I'm one of those people that liked the movie but didn't love it. I know a lot of people have that like up there,
right,
for their favorite like sci-fi movies, but I wouldn't mind either.
I don't think it's going to happen. I also like the movie. The only part of it I absolutely do not like is Chris Tucker. Like his screaming.
Yeah, I know,
that was the one part of the movie where I was like, please cut all of that out. And I like Chris Tucker in his other films. Just in that film, that overbearing reality star guy, which was actually prescient. It was like before all that, our reality shows really took off. But yeah, it's a great, if you haven't seen Fifth Element, check it out.
All right, let's do 2 more.
Ashley wants to know, will there ever be a Zelda film?
Yes, I have to believe there's going to be a Zelda film. I don't know why Nintendo is so trigger shy about letting some of their properties go to movie. Now, I know they had that terrible Mario Brothers movie so many years ago, but that was so many years ago.
Right.
Zelda is better set up to be a feature film than a Mario Brothers. Zelda's story and mythology is very cinematic in nature. Now, you know my feeling on video game movies, they're destined to suck, but I think Zelda would be one of those ones that would have a pretty good chance of being okay. So I gotta believe it'll happen at some point. What do you guys think?
Eventually, there'll be one. I mean, the brand name is too big for them to ignore, and one day they'll make one. And as long as they put the right talent behind it, hopefully it'll be good. I mean, they have a lot of backstory to it, and and fantasy's big right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Warcraft is a big hit, see Zelda as a young adult movie. I mean, that's like you have multiple sequels right there.
So we've talked about this before, though, right? If Warcraft is a hit and a success, if Assassin's Creed also follows up and is really good,
it's going to open the door.
Oh, the floodgates will open. All right. What last question from Twitter today?
Anton Reyes has been sending this for a couple days, so I have to ask, which company does Spider-Woman belong to, and would she fit in the MCU universe or the Amazing Spider-Man universe better?
All right, I get so many questions about this. People very cleverly think, I have found a loophole. No, anything spider-related, the film rights belong to Sony. That includes Miles Morales, that includes Spider-Man 2099, that includes Spider-Woman, that includes, all that stuff. So anything that is spider-related, Marvel cannot find some. I know a lot of people have been writing me and say, hey, what if Marvel introduced a Ben Reilly character and he wore a similar Spider-Man? No, they can't. Ben Reilly belongs to anything.
Part of the Clone Saga, part of Spider-Man.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything that falls under the Spider-Man umbrella belongs to Sony. You won't see Spider anything popping up in a Marvel film. Have you guys heard anything different?
No, but I wouldn't mind seeing her on the big screen.
Oh, me too. You just won't see her in a Marvel film.
I like that outfit. Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
And she's a cool character too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they honestly should do the spin-offs, If anything, they should do Black Cat, Venom. You mentioned Scarlet Spider, Spider-Man 2099.
We know Venom's coming. We know Sinister Six is coming.
Batman Beyond meets Spider-Man 2099.
Oh.
Which one?
All right, folks, that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us today. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this podcast, look in the description of this video, and you'll find links to our Stitcher and our iTunes for the audio-only stuff if you want to listen to us on the way to work. I want to thank, first of all, the guys sitting at the table with me, starting off with returning from Vegas, Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter @ThinkHero and on YouTube ThinkHero Pro.
Sitting beside him, hasn't just come back from Vegas, but I'm sure he likes it anyway, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
I'd like to be coming back from Vegas victoriously. You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at John Schnepp, and please come to Meltdown this Saturday. I'm bringing my comics back. We're doing the SchneppCon 2, my comic book collection, dollar comic. Come on by from 10 to 5.
And, of course, our lovely host today, who is also not just returning from Vegas, but is on her way to Coachella, as it turns out, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Chrisley, where can people find you online?
This weekend, you won't find me anywhere because I'll be in the desert. But you can find me on Instagram and Twitter @Chrisley, and always in the chat board during the show.
And I am going to Vegas this weekend, as it turns out, doing some birthday celebrations in Vegas this weekend. So I'll be out there. And you can find me online on the various social media networks, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, @JohnCampia. Thanks a lot for joining us today, guys. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News. And until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.